Cushing House and Museum. The house was originally built for Captain William Hunt, one of Newburyport's shipmasters. It was built in 1808, but he was never able to live in the house because he got lost at sea. 10 years later, another shipmaster from Newburyport named John Newmark Cushing purchased the house for him and his family. Walking in feels like a time capsule, and to preserve its beauty, everyone is required to wear booties. Our journey begins by taking a right into the Oriental Room. Above the door is a picture of an old Caleb Cushing, and a younger portrait of him is inside the room above the mantel. I'm sure you're wondering who Caleb Cushing is. Well, he is the son of John Newmark Cushing. He went to Harvard at the age of 13 and became U.S. Attorney General under President Franklin Pierce in 1843. President Tyler later appointed him ambassador to China. He signed the first treaty with China, and the treaty was called Wang Hiya. This room reflects travel and is made up of all the things he brought home from other nations. This room is also filled with culture not often seen by the typical people living in this area. Though this house shows the life of a rich politician, it also shows the everyday life of the bourgeois in Newburyport from hundreds of years ago. Throughout the house lie essences of the past that make this museum feel like a home. During the Federal period, the makeup women wore consisted of a waxy material that would melt with heat. Naturally, during the winter, these women wanted to continue wearing their makeup while staying warm in front of the fire. This here is a fire screen, and it would help prevent heat from hitting the faces of women. As we journey further into the house, we arrive at the dining room. This here is a plate warmer. You put your plates inside the device and leave it in front of the fire before eating. It was very convenient for keeping plates warm during the winter before your meal. To the right of the dining room is a china closet. Though it seems high-end and antique to us, these kinds of things were sold on the streets of the town, and they were very popular. They're similar to the art and jewelry sold on the streets of Boston today. One of the most fascinating items in the house were actually hanging from the ceiling in the corridor. These are a pair of fire buckets. Every time there was a fire in town, the people of Newburyport could not rely on a fire station like we do today. Everyone in town would fill these buckets with water and rush to the side of the burning building. They would also bring a large bag for saving valuables from the fire to return to the owners later. Most people in Newburyport from the Federal period were very religious, and they would spend many hours in church. This here is an armrest that they would bring to church every Sunday themselves. Just like us, children from hundreds of years ago also had stuffed dolls. These were handmade by mothers. During this time period, the things women mainly did were arts and crafts. These are pictures from the Laura Combs Hills Art Gallery featured in the Cushing House Museum. These are today's equivalent to wallet pictures, and they were very popular to carry around at the time. She also sewed. And these are a collection of bonnets the museum today calls the bonnet closet. At the age of 13, most girls could create masterpieces like these. Though hard to create, the fine sewing of these girls was typical for this time period. Jobs. During the Federal period, Newburyport had many shipmasters, and these were books of their many records. Newburyport also had 3 major industries. They produced shoes, silverware, and turtle shell hair combs and accessories. They also produced furniture. Some people come to this house like a library. They come here to research on their own lives and ancestors from the Federal period. Elizabeth Perkins Cushing was the wife of Caleb Cushing. She designed this beautiful table at the age of 13 that the Cushing family purchased for their new home. This was before they even knew each other. As you now know, when they grew up, they got married. She died young, and Caleb never remarried and lived the rest of his life alone. because his love for her was so strong, and when he finally died, he was buried next to her as well. The Cushing House and Museum. A truly interesting house filled with antiques, artifacts, peculiar objects, as well as everyday normal items from the Federal period. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.